Hello, thank you for being in a new video. This time I have a little review of the Galaxy Watch FE. Let's get started. I said small review because honestly it does not seem to me an interesting product. I should anticipate that because of its price. In Mexico it was announced at 1999 pesos. On the screen you see the reference price in dollars just to give you an idea. This comes in a single size of 40 millimeters, so it is a tiny watch. But it will not have many differences with respect to models of past generations, such as the Galaxy Watch 5 or Galaxy Watch 6 or 6 Classic, which currently in several stores you can find them even at a lower price than this one. So I don't find much sense in this watch, I must say. Its main difference will be in the design, and it's a difference for the worse, obviously. As you look at the tremendous size of its bezels, it's a display that doesn't take up all the space it has available, so the bezel really is quite stark, which actually reminds me of the Galaxy Watch 4 to some extent. But that's why I insist that I don't see much point in this one. Better to buy one from past generations that could compete in price or be cheaper than this one. And actually, it's not a bad watch. It really offers you pretty much everything Samsung watches offer you, but with an ugly design. So, in such a case, better buy a watch of past generations that has a nicer design and will give you the same functions. Since we found also good level of water resistance, the bands can be interchangeable. Perhaps this is one of the relatively attractive features of the watch. Maybe in past generations the band exchange mechanism was a bit more complicated, but in any case it depends on the band and not so much on the watch. So I don't see much point in it. In this case it is going to be available in black, silver and rose gold. That rose gold is simply the frame because the band is completely pink, just as an interesting fact about this model. The screen is 1.2 inches. It is an extremely small screen. Most smartwatches today have larger screens. That's why I insist that it's not worth spending this kind of money on this device. Obviously, it does have advanced features like every Samsung watch, such as always-on display. The watch faces obviously could be an attraction, but since all these options are also found on other Samsung watches from past generations, I don't consider it to be something attractive about this particular watch. And in everything that has to do with sound, it will be the same. Because yes, it's a good watch that can make calls. You can listen to music from here. You can control your Galaxy Buds from here. Anyway, it has very good capabilities, but its biggest competitor is Samsung watches from past generations. You even have the voice assistant by holding down the button, which is kind of attractive compared to watches from other brands, but you also find it on nicer Samsung watches from past generations that compete in the same price point, and it also offers very good health status monitoring support. In fact, it's easier for me to tell you what you're not going to find here, which for example would be the energy score, which we currently only find on Galaxy Watch 7 and Galaxy Watch Ultra, and also the age index, which has to do with your metabolism and kind of how it processes sugar and some other things. Other than that, it's got everything. It measures your steps, it measures your sleep, it measures your oxygenation, it measures your heart rate, it measures your stress. Although in this case it doesn't integrate temperature sensor that could help with menstrual cycle prediction, that would be an important absence that, for example, you could find in the Galaxy Watch 6, which currently can be priced very close to the price of this watch. For that reason, it doesn't make sense. On the plus side, it even has the body composition sensors, whereby simply placing your fingers on the side buttons, which can also function as electrodes, it can do a scan and can tell you what percentage of your body is fat, water, muscle. Anyway, that's a very important piece of information that finding it in a proposal that is supposedly going to be price conscious is attractive. But in any case, ideally, Samsung would distribute this watch at a much lower price to really make sense. Because at this price, I've said it many times, it does not suit. It is even able to do electrocardiogram and measure blood pressure. Although you should know that to measure blood pressure, like all Samsung watches, you need to first do a calibration with a device that is indeed capable of measuring blood pressure by exerting this pressure on your arm. Then once you do this calibration, the watch will be able to give you similar data. Although the watch is not going to put pressure on you or anything like that, but with this calibration you can have a very close data. Although you have to repeat this calibration every so often. So these are really very advanced functions to talk about a smartwatch. That's why I insist that it is not a bad watch. But at this price it competes against other Samsung watches that are better. Everything that has to do with sports monitoring is also of good quality. The automatic detection, everything works well. Now let me tell you about the battery, because here we could find a weak point since this edition is only in the size of 40 millimeters, which is a very small edition and therefore has very small battery, in addition to the fact that it does not integrate such a recent generation processor, although in that sense it would be on par with past generations of Samsung watches. In short, you're going to have to charge it every day. You may not need to wait that long for it to fully recover its charge, unless you use always on display, because in that case you're going to have to charge it all day and also wait long enough for it to recover enough power. So the battery is not really remarkable. No Samsung watch currently has a very spectacular battery. Only the Galaxy Watch Ultra can last about 3 days, which is very good in the Samsung world, but still low in the general world of smartwatches. In my charging test, it regained that of the battery with 15 minutes after it had completely shut down. In 30 minutes, it managed to recover that of the battery with 39% of the power. And the full charge was completed in 1 hour and 37 minutes. It still retains wireless charging. So I honestly don't understand Samsung's strategy. Let me propose something better. They could release a Galaxy Watch FE, maybe with pin charging instead of magnetic charging. Maybe you take away the EKG and the ability to measure pressure. You could even take away some sensors like the altitude sensor or even the compass, but definitely cut the price enough so that it doesn't compete with themselves. I mean, Samsung could indeed remove more things to make a cheaper edition of its watch, but in this case it decided to keep pretty much everything, just in an uglier design. So, I don't see the point of software. I'm not going to talk to you because it does the same thing it does in other Samsung watches where I have already shown you in detail. So with this we will end this little video with this reflection that there is not much sense in a Galaxy Watch FE which only worsen the design but do not apply other cuts with which they could have adjusted the price much more to make it more attractive. I hope you liked this video. If you did, you know you can let us know. And we'll see you next time.